Hello, and welcome back to the channel. If you're interested in making a watermelon trellis similar to the one I have here, stay tuned. You are going to need a saw, a drill, some zip ties, as well as chicken wire, and for this specific build, I used 7 pieces of 2x2x8 white pine. You are going to take 3 other pieces of wood and cut them directly down the middle at 4 feet. And then the other 4 pieces, you're going to go on and leave those whole. And I know y'all see me struggling cutting this piece of wood, but trust me, it gets better. Next thing I did was dug a deep hole on each corner of the raised garden bed. And now I go in and take each individual post that I cut in half and I put it in each corner of the raised garden bed, and I kind of compact the soil so that each post stays sturdy. You can also use things like sand or anything else that you think may keep the post in place. We are now getting to the top of the raised garden bed, and so now we're taking our last half cut post and putting it on top. And I just kind of wanted to make sure it was even on both sides so that it would be asymmetrical. And then you'll see here I take 2-inch screws and I go on and drill those in, and I put 2 screws on each side because I'm also going to put a frame going across. I'm pretty sure that if you don't have screws, you can also use nails, but I always feel like screws are a little bit more sturdy. Just make sure that when you do get the screws, that you get long ones. I feel like the 2-inch was just enough, but even then, if you get any other type of screws, get 2-inch or longer. Anything shorter than 2 inches will be way too short, just given the size of the wood. And now I'm just going to repeat the same thing on the other side, making sure that those edges are about the same length on both sides. And for those following along as we go, you can pause the video or just let it play on in the background while you do the exact same thing for the opposite side. We don't change anything. Another thing I will mention, you do not have to get these specific wood dimensions. If you want to use something more flat, then you can. I had also asked the lumber shop for 1x2x8 pieces, but I ended up finding these to be the vision that I wanted. Next, you are going to add the chicken wire, and I put 3 zip ties on both sides. And you may notice the little bowing on the middle, but when we do the top beams, it will stretch out and lay flat. And as you can see, I put them up top. I made sure I had room in the middle for my corn to grow up. And when you put the top beams on the end directly on top of the other beams that are going straight up, make sure you drill the holes in the opposite direction. Just be sure that when you do drill in those top beams, that you do stretch it out on both sides as wide as you can. You may need a second person just to flatten out that chicken wire on the sides. Time to put in effect what we actually made this trellis for, which is to ultimately trellis the watermelon. And I know watermelon doesn't naturally trellis, so you kind of got to help it out and weave it through some of the holes. I did make sure that the chicken wire I got was a little bit bigger with the squares than some of the other smaller chicken wires you may see. And my watermelon plants are still fairly in their early stage. They're about 30 days old. So over time, they should get a little bit bigger and go up a little bit higher, but I do have hammocks that I'm going to add to this trellis that will also help support the watermelons. This is my first time growing watermelon, and I decided to go in and grow some sugar babies, some yellow mountain sweet watermelon, and some orange tender sweet. So I'm really excited because I have watermelons going from about 5 pounds all the way to potentially 30 pounds that would be needing support on this trellis. And I wanted to make sure that it had all the support that it needed and that it was off the ground so that they wouldn't ripen early or at least give the illusion that they were ripe early.